Hi, Jim from Art in Metal here. If you like our videos, please subscribe. There should be a button somewhere down the bottom here somewhere. I'd just like to introduce you to our new hydraulic test and shim kit, which is this guy here. So what you get is a little baggie with all the bits and pieces you need and a comprehensive instruction manual. That will show you how to not only test your hydraulic pressures and shim them, but it will also do all of the valves in your tractor, the steering, the HST, the gearbox if you've got a gearbox rather than a HST, the backhoe relief valve, all the hoses and the loader valve. So what's in the kit? Well, firstly we've got a quality liquid-filled pressure gauge, and we've got a remote mounting hose and a test fitting and packets of shims. We give you 10 shims, which allows for between 50 psi and just over 1,000 psi of adjustment in your tractor pressure. If you have a BX 2380 or a 23S, you'll have the flat face style coupler, which is this guy here. All the other tractors have this style of a poppet coupler. So if you don't know your model number or are unsure, just check one of your hoses. If it's got the flat face, that's the kit you need to order. Otherwise, you'll order the kit with the poppet couplers. Now, which coupler you use will just purely depend on the model tractor you have. If you have a backhoe, the best place to test your hydraulics is from the line at the rear of the tractor that plugs into the backhoe, and you'd plug that one or that one in depending on your style. If you don't have a backhoe, you can test from the loader ports, but removing the 4 loader lines can be a little difficult for some, and part of the reason why we have the remote cable is because reading the gauge down there is difficult. So if you have a 4-in-1 bucket, which most people do, we have this optional connector, and you'll notice that it's a different size to the rest of the tractor. So the easiest place if you have a 4-in-1 and no backhoe is to get the optional fitting, plug into your 4-in-1. It's quick and easy to test your pressures. If you don't have a 4-in-1 or a backhoe, you have to test from the loader. These are the parts in our standard kit with the bag, the gauge, the hose, manual, shims, and the connector to suit your tractor, and you'll get one or the other of those. I'd just like to show you the optional fittings. So we have the one for the third function. You use that if you have a 4-in-1 bucket and no backhoe, and the one for the steering connector. So this one allows you to unplug any hose on the tractor and put it in line and test. All of these fittings also come off, and then they're threaded fittings that go into the other test ports of the tractor. So that's how you use the test kit to test, for example, the forward and reverse speeds in your HST, or the relief valve in your backhoe, for example, and many others. So how does all this kit go together and work? Pretty simply, we have our hose, and it's got the gauge port and the test port. Just remove the plug. So screws into your gauge, only needs to be finger tight, and that's your test fitting port. So depending on what you're testing, these are a standard size, they screw straight in. So if we were doing our pressures, we'd be like that, plugging in. If we were testing the HST, for example, that would come off, you'd screw that into the port on the tractor and then come along and attach your lead. And same goes if you were testing a hose, for example. You'd take that guy off, put that guy on, and put that in line with your hose. This is your standard fitting that comes with the basic kit. You either get one or the other, the flat face or the poppet. This is the one for the third function, or if you have a 4-in-1, same thing. And you'll notice that they are a different size. Now this fitting is pretty common if you have a 4-in-1 bucket. It may be different if you don't have a 4-in-1 bucket and on your third function, because this fitting is fitted by the dealer, not Kubota Australia. So they may have fitted something different. So just be sure before you order that you have a standard 4-in-1 bucket. You'll be right with that. Otherwise you may have a different fitting. Let us know and we can change the fittings for you. And the last optional fitting is again the one for the hoses and the small port. It gives you the small port test port. Thanks for watching. The pressure and shim kits are now available in our web store.